Heads up, we are live now.
So we just had somebody else join us by phone of 3421. Can you identify yourself, please?
That's Gary.
Oh. It's not letting me join you because you also have audio on your other instance too.
All right, try now.
Okay, how's that?
Looks good to me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the May 2021 meeting of the LONI Management Council. Is Michelle Brandon online to call our roll?
Absolutely. Mike Asude. Kenneth Bowe.
Mike Asuda, I'm present.
Thank you. Kenneth Bowe.
Present.
Beth Courtney. Gabrielle Fabio. Gene Fields.
Here.
Terrence Ginn. Paul Helton.
Paul won't be here today.
Richard Howes.
Here.
Mr. Leger.
Here.
Brad Masters.
Here.
Giovanni Piedmont.
Here.
Ramu. Ram.
Here.
Eric Setz. Tanya Singe. Rachel Finley. Vincent.
Here.
Craig Woolley. No Wong,
Here, present.
we have a quorum.
Thank you. Now call the meeting to order and ask our Secretary Treasurer for the report concerning the February 2021 minutes.
So Eric didn't say that he was present.
Oh,
So we'll just entertain a motion to approve the February minutes that was issued with the agenda.
This is Ken. I'll move to accept.
This is Lonnie. I second his motion.
motion has been moved and seconded. Any questions on the floor? Okay. Then all those in favor of accepting the minutes for my February 2021 meeting,
Aye.
please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, thank you. The motion is carried. We will accept the February 2021 minutes as provided. Our next item is we want to recognize our new council members. Is Dr. Singh present for introductions? Okay. Dr. Piedmonte, are you present for introductions?
You want me to introduce myself?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm Giovanni Piedimonte. I'm the Vice President for Research and Institutional Official for Tulane University. I am originally a physician. I've been doing research for 30 years in biomedical areas, particularly respiratory. And after several years of Cleveland Clinic, I joined Tulane about 1.5 years ago.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your contributions to the Management Council.
Thank you.
Ever so often in our agenda, we're called upon to make sure that we abide by getting any public comments. So Lance, was there
Nothing.
nothing so far? So, okay,
Nothing so far.
Dr. Finley, we can move on.
All right. I'll now turn it over to our executive director for his report. Lonnie?
Thank you, ma'am. I hope by the August meeting, we'll have the opportunity to be live and in person with each other. We look forward to that potential on August 24th. It seems like we've been on the other side of the moon, the dark side of the moon all this time, nearly a year later. So I look forward to that opportunity. So please mark your calendars for those that are outside of the Baton Rouge immediate area. Hopefully you can make your travel arrangements to be with us on August 24th. I'll just quickly go through these items that we have here. Some of it's going to be new information. Some of it's going to just be kind of a catch up and rehashing some of the same things, because fortunately sometimes things move a little bit slower than we wish in our endeavors. So the things that we put together for our work plan for this year, we wanted to focus on was increase in participation. And we do this every chance we get. We covered in the LONI Summit. So we're trying to create a sense of community and a benefit of the community every time that we post things, every time that we participate in the Slack channel, every time we have events like this, and anytime we get an opportunity in a large audience to communicate our desire for everyone to participate. I hope that this year we'll see some metrics grow along those lines. We didn't set a specific target. Hopefully we'll just see some increase. This year, the second item was that we'd host a summit. Unfortunately, but yet fortunately, we were able to host a virtual summit. We had, at least at one time, according to my calculations, we're about 64 attendees virtually through our summit. So that was a really nice participation by the community. That's probably one of the biggest calls virtually that we hosted ever. And the other thing was that, we're trying to increase the number of subscribers. We look forward to adding the University of Holy Cross in New Orleans, starting in July 1st. And we're continuing our ongoing conversations with WYES TV in New Orleans. Sorry for the small print. I was just trying to get some detail out so that you could participate in what's going on. As you know, we're trying to establish some direct network peerings because of our presence in Dallas. And we asked a couple of our CIOs that are management council members to participate in the ad hoc group. And those are Gene Fields and Mike Asude, Craig Woolley, and Ken Bow. And you see their kind of focus, at least what we're targeting for. And so far, we've had really good conversations with a couple of the vendors, and some of them's going to take a little while, more so than others, just because of how they do business, more so what's available to us and how we can get it. Because at this point, it's a very tactical process of how do we actually make the connection to make the services from these prospective vendors the most advantage for us of cost of transport ingress and egress, the most secure experience we can make it as possible. The next one in the work plan was participating in the FCC Rural Health Care program. We hosted a call during our monthly trending topics on April 15th. We'll be hosting another call later this month, talking about the letter of intent to be signed for participation so that we can get that up to the consortium leads on it, and of course continue to answer any questions from the attendees. So I highly recommend all of what I call the C stars to participate, so they can understand at least as much as we know at this time, so we can start building an FAQ that we can readily share more among us. We talked about moving toward the students with procurement services through collaborations with the e-learning task force. They have been focused on a virtual presence of communication and outreach and having guest speakers in. If you participate in any of those that range from the academic side to the IT side. So that's been their focus, and hopefully within the couple of quarters we can get back onto the discussion with them about where does this effort's going to lead potentially for us to do something in a statewide initiative in supporting teaching and learning directly in the classrooms. Some of the news and events that we'll go over is that we'll host our community technical call this Friday, which is usually the Friday after each of the management council meetings. We hold those so quarterly. We have our upcoming monthly community-wide call. We're still doing those as trending topics. So this is mostly of unstructured time to ask questions, to raise concerns, and just bounce ideas off of each other. A lot of it seems to focus around return to work, cybersecurity, and pretty much what is more contemporary thoughts and things that are making the news. I would imagine that given the light of the Colonial Pipeline situation, there'd be probably conversations that would come up regarding that and those implications in our own backyards. And that we will be, like I said, hosting a virtual call later this month to continue to talk about the conversations and steps for applying for the rural health care program. In the strategic plan, Regions is continuing to review the next steps for engagement. I think they're very close of making those wishes known to us so that we can start building our operations plan to meet that goal and that deliverable. Thank you for the great green color. This means that everyone has returned the signed service orders for FY22. We appreciate everyone's support and backing of the program as we move forward. And I just want to give you thanks to everyone who participated, shared information, shared examples, in whatever persuasion you used either locally on your campus or among your systems, whatever it might be. I thank you very much for that 100% participation in the service orders. So the update, we made this note last time. This is nothing new. You hear it in the news. We do have semiconductor supply shortages. In fact, I looked for a new computer. Mine's 5 years old, and most everything that I looked for was on back order because I would imagine that this reality. We're still looking for anticipated delivery of the Infinera equipment by the end of June. That might slip. It all depends upon, how we can get the product all the way from manufacturing through pre-staging and to us. But we're hopeful that a majority can be here by the end of June. We've actually we had a kickoff meeting this week. Actually, I think I misspoke. It's with Infinera to plan our first segment to be upgraded, and we're planning for Lafayette to Shreveport segment to be upgraded on the backbone first, and we're working with Infinera to plan that out, working with our vendors along the route. We're already starting to reach out to the schools that our fiber passes through and starting to coordinate that. So we're starting to put a project plan and a critical path around that segment as our first phase. I think, Gary, we've got some number of phases to this project. Can you remember how many we have so far that we've planned out?
Yes, we planned out 7 along the backbone, and then essentially we'll have a phase for every major market, every city in the state where we have our own fiber.
Okay.
So there's numerous ones that follow the backbone.
So as soon as we get a, that's been internally circulated, as soon as we get something that seems to be in more of a finished product, we'll share that so you can start seeing where you might necessarily be, not necessarily on a timeline yet. We haven't added that to it, but at least what sequence of locations it would be first versus probably last. And of course, it's fluid and it may all change. And the last bullet was that we've been recently given the go-ahead to execute on the Cisco equipment. So we're hoping to complete this very soon, but we also realize that the fiscal year-end purchase timings that everyone tries to give plenty headroom to accomplish, we're going to be butting up against. So that's very, very good news, exciting news. But we've also got this demand and supply chain, if you would, of people of trying to get everything done before the end of the fiscal year. we'll keep you abreast to that as those become more firm. I was hoping to finalize at least the requisition process within about a week or so. So we've got our quarterly updates from Sam and Gary. Sam couldn't join us today. He was doing a technical review of some upcoming purchases that he needed to be away for. But if you have any questions for him, please don't hesitate to reach out to him or us or anyone of the team. As well as Gary is here for the network quarterly update. That handout was shared as well. So if you have any questions, now time's a great opportunity to ask, or offline, however you'd wish to ask those. Hearing none, I'll just move on. So the membership agreement update, we've got some feedback since the last management council, and we decided we're going to start over and build a simpler agreement and really allow the service orders to hold the specifics about the service, the targets, costs, and terms and conditions. We, as an officer group, we usually try to get together ahead of the meeting, and we talked about the timelines, and I presented that to Regents as well, that we're looking at for about mid-June to release a draft to the officers and potentially the executive committee. I think Ms. Rachel is going to talk about that. And then by the August meeting, have the executive committee present a motion of recommending the final draft to Regents by that time. And Rachel, so I'll pause and see if you would like to follow up on our conversations with the potentially using the executive committee at this time.
Yes, thank you, Lonnie. So it has been helpful in prior occasions when there are items for review that the officers and a larger body, the executive committee, review these items, and then, as Lonnie mentioned, bring those to the body. So I would like, as a point, that we would reestablish or reinstate our executive committee, and we will be in communication with the personnel who will join the management council officers to participate in the review of the membership agreement, and then provide that information back to the general body for a motion to accept.
So what I'll, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to pull up the bylaws real quick, but I think we have to, approve the executive committee membership, Miss Dr. Finley, which you can do as a nomination, but I think it behoove us now to recommend those and establish those, because we want to make sure they're subject to the approval of the majority of the council. Since we have a quorum, we can do that under our business here this afternoon. So I'll just read that the council shall form an executive committee consisting of 9 council members to be recommended by the chair, subject to approval by the majority of the council. So I'd ask that you would consider making a motion and name those 9 members.
All right. I move, pardon me.
So we have some known ones according to the bylaws. We have the chair-elect, the secretary of the council, the executive director. So that's 4, and we need 5 additional nominees. I hate to put you on a spot, but We got a little time. Or we may just ask for volunteers.
This
Yes.
is Brad Masters. I'd like to serve on that.
Okay.
Yes. My apologies. I had a list of my information is removed from my computer. So I would ask then for our LONI Council members, for those who have interest on joining us as a part of the executive committee to serve in the capacity of reviewing the membership agreement. If you would voice your interest in joining us at this time, we have Brad Masters, who has volunteered to participate in this process.
I'll volunteer as well. It's Noah Wong from Tulane. It's
I'm
Noel.
sorry, who was just speaking?
It's Noel from Tulane.
Noel, thank you. Dr. Wong.
This is Gene Fields. I'll volunteer if to participate.
Thank you, Jean. Per the bylaws, we also require our Board of Regents representative to participate.
Yeah, so it's not a requirement, but it's definitely been a normal observed practice of such. So I would at least hold one of the positions of the two that are left for a Board of Representative to be on the to be either Terrence Ginn or his designee. So we need one
Okay.
more.
We need. And the additional member I would like to participate would be Dr. Fab from Southern University.
Okay.
So in review of our 9 executive committee nominees, first must include our our officers, which would include myself, Lonnie, Legere, Eric Seltz, Ram,
That'd be
our
Ramu.
volunteer, Ramu, Ramu, our vice chair. Our volunteers would include Brad Masters, Noah Wong, Gene Fields, Terrence Gand or designee, and Dr. Fabria from Southern University. So formally, I move that we instate the executive committee to participate in the review of the membership agreement once that has been prepared.
Second the motion.
A second,
I second.
a second.
That was Gene Fields.
Okay, we have a motion and it was seconded by Eugene Fields. Are we ready to call the question? Okay.
I have a question, Dr. Finley. This is Michelle Brandon. For documenting, you mentioned that one of the members will be the vice chair. On my list, I don't know who that is.
That's Ramu.
Remove.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay. Are we ready to call the question?
Yes,
Motion.
I call for motion.
Okay. The motion is to reinstate the executive committee with those members that have been outlined. All those in agreement, please respond by saying aye.
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 All those opposed to the motion, please say nay. Anyone abstaining? All right. The motion has been moved and seconded, and the ayes have it. Thank you all for your patience.
All right, thank you, Rachel and the rest of the members. Hopefully this will be a light endeavor. We'll do our best to make it as virtual as possible. And so we can get through this as quickly as possible for everyone's viewing pleasure. So time again for me to reach out to Lance for call for any public comment.
None at this time.
Okay. Moving on. Chief Advisor's report / recommendations. I think first up is RAM. And what you got any topics for us, RAM, to present, talk about? You're still muted. Okay. He might be preoccupied. So we'll come back to him if RAM is available by voice a little bit later. Next up is Gene from our Chief Technology Advisor report. Gene, you like to share anything?
Thanks, Lonnie. I appreciate it. Just a few announcements, nothing big. I'll let Lance fill in any details, but the two network security working group and the NTAG both elected new officers. So we're excited to have a new cadre of folks that are going to be operating and running those two groups. Those groups, as you had pointed out, have been very productive and busy over the last few months. A couple of key things that I think have brought tremendous value to the whole community have been discussions about compliance and audit support and the collaboration that's happened. I think it's incredible. And I can testify as a university being a great benefactor and receiver of those discussions as well. And I know my team are appreciative of those discussions. Other topics of interest that have been going on in the groups have been discussions about the CIS controls. GLBA is a hot topic right now. That's a compliance mandate for financial aid, which, as a lot of us know, is it's been around for a while, but it's relatively new in our world. So that's been a hot topic. PCI compliance continues to take centerpiece and have discussions. Of course, the old proverbial email security is always a hot discussion item, and there's a lot of good collaboration that happens in that arena as well. Also, to Lonnie, this is a compliment to you and your team. There's been also discussions about the benefits and the future possibilities associated with some of the direct peering. So I think the whole community is excited about the possibilities and the opportunities that might bring to the entire LONI community. So for that, I think I speak on behalf of the community that everybody's grateful for that endeavor and that work. That's the big picture.
Okay. Lance, you've got anything to add from the working groups for Mr. Gene?
I think Gene was very effective in communicating everything that's been going on. I always like to take the opportunity to at least highlight the individuals that have volunteered themselves and their time to participate in their respective institutions, because these people are not just volunteers, but they've also been elected by their peers across all the campuses. So just to remind you all, we have Josh Young from Sowella as our returning co-chair for the NTAG, and he is joined this year by Heath Fitz from Northwestern. And on the security working group, our returning co-chair is Jonathan Cockrell from LSU Shreveport, and he is joined this year by none other than Mr. Charles Broom from UL Lafayette. since we just had our summit last month, those two working groups are really just starting to kick off the current year. So there's no better time than the present for your institution to get re-engaged and get back into the fold of things.
Thank you, Lance. Like I said, we always try our best to communicate the value and the desire for your institution's participation at each and every level of your IT organization within our working groups, and our monthly call, trending topic call, and our quarterly community-wide technical call that's coming up this Friday. Paul Hilton from LED is our Chief Economic Development Advisor. He wasn't able to be present. He had a pressing engagement, hopefully resulting in some additional business, declaration being brought to Louisiana. So he's definitely excused, and sorry he couldn't be here, but he had no additional topic to bring to the council at this time. All right, next we're cruising along here. We're only 33 minutes into the program, and we've got another opportunity for a call for public comment.
No public comment.
Okay. So old and new business, I don't have any. As I think the agenda called for. So unless anyone from the officers have any, or Rachel, I don't have any. And afterwards, if hearing none, here's our 2021 and 2022 meeting schedule. So you'll see we've got, believe it or not, in Management Council timeline, we're half of the year gone. We're only got 2 more meetings left. So I'm not sure if that is good for you or that scares you to death. But we're halfway through our meeting schedule. So after that, if there's nothing else, then I have nothing, Chairwoman Dr. Finley. So I'll give it back to you to handle any new or old business and adjournment.
Thank you, Lonnie, for your efficiency. I have no new or old business. Hearing none from the floor, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion. It was seconded. We thank you all for your participation in the May